Edrik's mother was the daughter of a Valyrian nobleman, a proud and ancient family of dragon riders. She was given as a ward to the King of Andalos in exchange for a large sum of gold to build a measure of peace between the two global powers. In the court of the king, the young maid met a lowborn servant boy named Tommen. She became enamored with this tall, handsome young man with no family name. He was kind to her and wrote her songs he would sing. When the couple needed to be secret, Tommen would whistle the tunes of the songs across the courtyard as he worked, bringing a smile to the girl's face. They were young and in love, but the love was not to last. She became ill, and it was discovered that she was with child. Too poorly to take the moon tea that would have spared her the shame of returning to her father's house with a bastard child, she was forced to leave her newborn son and face the violent anger of her father. Tommen was a kindly man, a hard worker who did everything he could to raise Edrik properly. The pair struggled often, but Edrik often thought fondly of his father and the memories they shared. He would never forget the day that their door was beaten in by men hired by his mother's family. They dragged Tommen by his hair out into the streets and slit his throat in cold blood. Edrik did the only sensible thing he could think of in that moment. He ran. The sight of his father's cold, dead eyes often haunts Edrik's nightmares. He remained on the run, never keeping to one place for very long. The hired swords of the Valyrians were always a few steps behind him, but Edrik was able to grow as a swordsman and even hired himself out as a sellsword to earn money in his travels. He earned his knighthood by slaying a dragon. A tale for another time, but one that earned him renown across the continent. This was as much a burden as a blessing, for now danger knew him by name, and the mercenaries hired to kill him were closing in on him. In spite of the danger, Edrik enjoyed the taste of a fine ale, though truth be told, his thirst often found him in unsavory situations. After an evening of carousing at the local tavern, 6 sellswords drew their weapons against a single Andal man. Edrik intervened and used his size and skill to help the Andal overcome his assailants. As the pair shook hands, the city watchman burst through the tavern door, led by a Valyrian nobleman seeking the bastard. The watchman prepared to restrain Edrik and bring him into custody. The Andal returned his debt to Edrik by raising his voice to shrewdly compel the guards to let Edrik go. From that day forward, Edrik and Dickon were companions, inseparable. Eventually, the Valyrian contract killers, allied with the city watch, came for Edrik again. They had been lying in wait and cornered Dickon and him on an abandoned merchant street. Staring down 20 deadly swordsmen, the pair were prepared to meet their end. As the warriors roared and rushed to meet one another, a dozen mounted knights charged their rear and drove through the mercenaries. The mounted company was led by the marshal of an Andal nobleman named Varyk Uros. Varyk awarded the two invitations to compete in a tournament, giving an impassioned speech explaining his plan to cross the narrow sea and spread the faith. Unconvinced, yet desperate for an escape from his life as a fugitive, Edrik began to prepare for the fight of his life.